Hey guys, I promise I am not turning red pill on you. I've dated too many red pill guys to want to go down that path. But the point I'm going to make today is that productivity and grind culture isn't toxic, okay? I think it is self-care and self-respect. So welcome to the channel. I have a background in psychology research, but I work in project management. So for me, it's all about taking growth and mindset and self-improvement topics and making them super tangible and making them practical so that you can actually institute them into your life right away. So if you're joining us, thank you. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy the video, and let's get right into it. So my hot take is that productivity culture isn't toxic. Burnout is toxic. Bad boundaries are toxic, but optimizing your time so you have more life, that is self-care. So the 4-day work week is literally productivity culture. If you've heard of the 4-day work week, some companies do this, and that's productivity culture, and we're going to talk about it more in a moment. So why would you not want to get the same work done in less time? Like literally, it seems like a no-brainer to me. And in fact, sometimes you can even increase your output in less time. So this isn't red pill grind mindset, it's life optimization for freedom. Productivity done correctly equals more time, more autonomy, and more peace. So I think the fact that some people are painting it as like toxic and like way to grind hustle culture, I actually don't think that's the right way to go. You just need to go about it in the right way. So why productivity culture gets a bad reputation. So hustle identity, it sort of equates to I am my output, and productivity as moral superiority. So people like feel better than other people and really like basically like boil down the person based on their output, which obviously we're so much more than that. And for these people, endless optimization with no end goal might be the way that they approach things. And honestly, I can relate to this. I still remember in university that I would count the hours that I would study. And so this, I realized later how stupid this was. Like sometimes I would study way less, but I was just more focused. And I ended up doing way better on that exam than on an exam where I had actually put a lot of time into it. So that's not productivity, that is insecurity. That is equating yourself or your output with how many hours, how many absolute raw hours you're putting in. So toxic productivity is doing more to prove your worth. Healthy productivity is doing smarter to protect your life. Work smart, not hard. So the 4-day work week argument. The 4-day work week works because people cut unnecessary meetings, they focus on deep work, they remove low-value tasks, and their output stays similar or maybe even improves. And so, for example, I don't know if you guys have ever had this before. I have had times where like I can just tell that my productivity is dwindling, my focus is going downhill, and if I just take a step away from my work for a little bit and then come back to it, I'm coming back with fresh eyes, fresh focus, and new ideas and creativity. And I think that it's a lot about, that relates to the 4-day work week because people come back to work then the next week more refreshed. They have had time to let ideas sink in. And moreover, I think that sometimes in some companies in a 5-day work week, people are wasting their time. Like, I don't know, I think that sometimes people are just looking busy in the office or in the cubicle or whatever. Are they actually doing work? So that's why some of these companies have adopted this system. So if companies optimize to protect employee energy, why wouldn't you do that for yourself? So you got to reframe it as optimizing systems is buying your time back. That's why it's not toxic productivity. You're literally buying yourself time to go do other things, whether that is self-care, whether that is spending time with your family, whether that's traveling, whether that's reading, hobbies, whatever it is. Efficiency is compressed stress windows. I've spoken often about this, that if you compress the time window that you are going to get a task done, I promise your efficiency and even your problem-solving ability will go up. Sometimes I'll just tell myself, okay, this 40-minute task, I'm going to try to get it done in 25 minutes, 30 minutes tops. And honestly, if you commit to that, you will be so amazed at your output. And lastly, systems. Building systems, which again is something that I think is kind of associated with like the more red pill, toxic productivity, hustle, grind culture side of the internet. Systems, I think, is so amazing because it produces less decision fatigue. Things are systemized so you don't have to think about them as much. For example, I have an automated daily to-do list that I go to every single morning and just like lays out my whole morning for me. And, by the time noon comes around, I already feel like I'm really on top of most of my tasks because I just go in and every single day I kind of have my steps laid out for me. There's no thinking like, what am I going to start first? Which email address am I going to go to first? I have a system and it works for me. So productivity as self-care, let's talk about that for a second. So healthy productivity gives you more evenings off, more guilt-free rest, more time for hobbies, more time for relationships, more time for thinking, and less subconscious stress. This is so embarrassing for me, but like, I feel like this channel, like I keep just confessing stuff because I have no filter. That's definitely making me look bad. But like, honestly, I have had administrative tasks that have taken years to do. Like I literally put them off for years, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that does that. But the subconscious stress and the weight on your shoulders that produces, like I've had that I finally check off a task like that. And I'm like, oh my God, life is so much better now. And you never even realize that the stress was weighing on you. So I optimize my work so I can produce more in less time. And I want to produce work that is of the same quality or even better. So a couple ways that you can do this: batching work. So batching similar tasks together that are maybe complementary, whether that's something for work, whether that is something for a creative endeavor, whether that is household chores. Batch the work, decide which tasks are kind of going to go and be like brother and sister tasks. Templates. So for example, like my daily to-do system is a template that every single day I'm using. Clear priorities. So get clear on what are you actually going to get the best like ROI from, or return on investment. Like what is going to do the most and change the most for you. Don't focus on like a task that maybe it's low hanging fruit, but it's not really going to make a difference in your life. Like make sure that your priorities are clear. And minimum effective dose. So do what moves the needle and ignore the rest. That's kind of related to the priorities. So moving on to the nervous system angle. So disorganized work, it creates background anxiety, it creates unfinished loops, keeps your brain on at all times without ever being able to rest and kind of refresh yourself, and it increases your cortisol. While clear systems are going to reduce your cognitive load, lower your stress, increase emotional regulation, and improve performance under pressure. So productivity, it isn't grind culture. Like that's really what I'm trying to hit home today. It's nervous system management, it's self-respect, it is self-care, and it will improve your life. So the real question is, what are you optimizing for? This is the philosophical core of this. So are you optimizing for status, for money, for validation, or for freedom? So healthy productivity only works if you know what your enough looks like. Otherwise, you just keep expanding your workload. So for example, maybe society has really encouraged you to go into some sort of really high profile career, but maybe it's, finance or something, and you're working around the clock. Are you really happy? So, you have to ask yourself, what are your priorities? And then channel your productivity systems into that. So again, circling back on some practical tips. How to use productivity as self-care. So define your stop working time first. Build systems backward from your desired lifestyle. That's kind of what I was just touching on a millisecond ago over here. You do need to kind of know what your end goal is, right? So that's going to be totally different for every person. You don't want to just go along with maybe what teachers or parents or professors or society wants you to do. What does your ideal lifestyle look like? And then work back from that. Cut before you optimize. So eliminate low value work before you automate. So again, that's what I was saying before, prioritize. You don't want to just go for that low hanging fruit task. You want to do the task that is going to make the biggest difference. Even if that means you only get one thing done today, what is that one thing that is going to make the biggest difference for you? 3, use the 80-20 rule. I think that's pretty popular. I'm assuming that many people or most people that are interested in productivity and self-improvement have heard of that. But what is the 20% that is going to create 80% of the results? So typically, many kind of patterns in life will follow that rule. That 20% produces 80% of the results. So you got to find that 20%. Batch high friction tasks, so email blocks, content batching, errands, housework, admin, writing. Batch those works that are complementary, that need like the same energy type, that maybe, batch the creative tasks, batch like the more boring tasks, and also match it to your energy level. If you're feeling kind of low energy, maybe that's not the time to do something that's super analytical. Go do something still productive, but that doesn't require as much, brain power. And lastly is adopt a minimum viable output. So what is the level of quality that you're okay with? Try not to be overly perfectionistic, because I think that is sometimes the biggest thing in making people unproductive. It also leads to procrastination. If you are overly perfectionistic and you are chasing some sort of huge, high quality level of perfection, sadly, you're probably never going to reach it. And a lot of people are going to get ahead of you because they were okay with lowering the bar slightly. So productivity culture isn't toxic, okay? Productivity without intention is. So optimizing your life so you can work less and live more, that's not red pill. It's radical self-respect, and self-respect for your own time. Even if you are not a CEO with a God knows how high thousands and thousands of dollar hourly rate, you want to have self-respect for your time. It doesn't matter if you just rolled out of high school, you should have self-respect for your time. That is so important. All we have is time, honestly. So the most productive thing you can do is design a life where you don't need to be productive all the time, but when you are working, you are actually being productive and it feels easy. You don't feel that friction. You don't feel that dread. You're enjoying what you're doing. And maybe you're not always enjoying some random administrative task. I certainly don't, but it doesn't feel like something you need to dread. You know how to approach it. You can break it down into steps if you're overwhelmed. Work smart, not hard.